Okay, so another learning platform, it's mostly for formative or summative assessment, is called Edulastic. So Edulastic is a very good platform, especially when you're forming assessments from library that mimics the state testing, SBAC, and all that, because it actually locates the exact standards that you wanted your scholars to be assessed. So first, create an account using your Google. Once you're in, this is what you'll see. Now, if you wanted to add and manage your scholars first from Google Classroom, as you can see in the top, it says sync with Google Classroom. So click that and it'll access your classes. So in this case, give access to Edulastic, so it'll access your Google Classroom. As you can see, I have I'm co-teaching advisory. Now you can change the subject, that way it'll find the standards that you wanted to hit. So let me just add at least a class. So I'm gonna add, let's just do this one. I don't know whose class is it, but it's okay. So I'm gonna sync it. I can delete it later on. So once it syncs, then it's going to transfer over your scholars from your Google Classroom. As you can see, it says here there are 22 students. When you click it, you should be able to see your scholars right away. So that's how you import your students in your Google Class. So now that it's talking to each other, then you can start making your test. So there's no assignment yet, right? So we can use the item bank to be able to create a test. So let's say, for example, you wanted, let's say, since it's Miss Johnson, so social studies, and it can be 9th through 12, and you can pick and choose whatever standards you are. So I'm just going to put all standards set, and I can simply just type in whatever topic you wanted to choose. So if you maybe you're talking about industrial revolution, so let's say you want to do that, then it will show you options of questions. So these questions right here, you can review and you can view. So if you click view, you should be able to see the question itself. It can be from a multiple choice question. So these ones, it says multiple choices. You can see there's like what it is, and there's also text entry. So when you want to view this one, for example, then scholars can type in their answer. This one is in Spanish, so that's a good thing too. So also on the left hand side, if you notice, there are question types. It can be passage with questions. When you click that, you should be able to see an option if there is available, and if you look at it, it says essay with rich text. So in this case, there's like a reading, and then scholars will write, so it's a written response. And then if you look, usually it has some sort of a key on here that you can use when you grade your scholars. So that is how you add item bank. So let's say, for example, I want to add this question right here. So I'm just gonna click add to the items, and then I can go back to, let's say, for example, you want all types, and then I'm just gonna have more items here. If you notice, there's like a different number of items every time. So let's say, for example, who's influential leader of the Mexican Revolution. So if you notice, it's like there's multiple choice, and I want to add that, so add to the test. Okay, and then same thing, if let's say I wanted a different type, it's a matching type, and then you can do that. So again, this is Spanish, but right, to add from the test. Okay, so let's say, for example, you have all the items here. So if you are going to, I'm just going to put history, and then I'm going to review all the questions. So if you notice, if I am a student, I can view as a student, and you can see how it looks like on their end. And then you click next, 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 and then when they're done, if you notice, there is a performance for each of the questions if they answered them. They got it correct or not, or whatnot. Okay, and then you exit, and then all you need to do is save it. And if you look at it down on the lower right hand side, even if there's no standard, you can actually define whatever standard you want. You just have to find it onto when you are looking for some items. There's also one for math. I'll show it to you, and then I'm just going to leave that behind. And then if I wanted, let's say, for example, math, all I need to do is go to the Common Core. So click that, and then it'll allow me to go to the standards. Let's just go to math. And then once you put to math, then you can go to math. And if I wanted to do a Hopefully there is one for function. So if you look at it, then you can actually view and how it looks like. Multiple choice items. There's also other choices, but normally it's multiple choice for math, if I'm not mistaken, from how I understood it. But if you want to look for a much more complex type of questioning, then you can do a depth of knowledge and you can do strategic thinking. Unfortunately, there isn't any for the functions, but same thing, you can find it there also. So when you go back, and if you want to assign it to your scholars, you can add the assignments to your scholars from it. Let's say you have from your library. If there's actually other existing exams that you can already put together, and then you can assign it. So if you click assign an exam, you can hit assign to your scholars, and then when you click assign, it'll give you the option when you want it open, and then there's also the test behavior wherein you can release the scores right away or not. If they don't got it correct, then partial credit, all or nothing, and then it automatically mark as done. You can actually embed a calculator, and also it can be timed, and you can do a hint on the students. Now the anti-cheating one, you can shuffle, you can require a password, and then they cannot navigate, let's say, warn and report or warn and block after 5 alerts. And then you can restrict the navigation as well, and then safe browsing. Now for auto direct, you can actually allow scholars to do maximum attempt, more than one. And then this one right here, check answer, they have the ability to check the answer 1 time or 2 times. It depends on what you like. And last but not least, for the miscellaneous, if it is actually measuring the standards, it'll tell you at the end if your scholars achieve mastery, and depends on what standards you're hitting. You can definitely make test questions specific, and you can create your own, but they have library as well for testing. So that being said, I hope you want to try Edulastic, explore it, and I hope this PD helps.